Hello, Scorpio. This is Christina Del Rey with your forecast for the year 2022. So, Scorpio, you're a fixed sign, and all the fixed signs are having life-changing events happen over these few years, last couple of years. And really, this year is no different. First, I'd like to talk about, before we get into the eclipses, because you are especially affected by the eclipses this year in particular, and probably the next 18 months. But before we talk about eclipses, I want to talk about Venus retrograde, because we are going to join 2022 already in a Venus in retrograde in progress. And that is happening in a part of the chart for you that has to do with it has to do with your neighbors. It has to do with siblings, cousins, the internet, and it also has to do with learning skills. So, in your thought process as well. So, you might be wondering what you value in your skill set or skills that you are learning, what values you are thinking about, and if that's the right thing to be thinking about, or should you be thinking of other values? Should you be changing your values? These are all things you're going to be evaluating when Venus is in retrograde. And we're talking about relationships when we talk about Venus too. So this could be your communication, your thought process around relationships and how that needs to change. You need to maybe think about, what do you value in a relationship? What matters in a relationship? What is your goal in relationships? But also too, Venus is also money too. So if you're thinking about skills, you could be thinking about the money that you want to make with your skills as well. So these are all things that are really important. Now, because Venus does meet with Pluto 3 times, you're going to notice December 11th in 2021, December 25th, 2021, and then again in March 4th. So you're going to, March 4th of 2022. So you're going to notice these as key dates that, there probably will be a shift or perhaps even a purge. But you will know that this value has changed, whatever it is, whether it's relationship or the way you think or any of these areas, you will know it has changed for the good by the time March 4th comes. Okay, so we want to talk a little bit about the Mercury retrogrades. Mercury is going retrograde January 14th. This is happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with your home or where you live, your house. So anything related to selling a house, buying a house, or just kind of your house in general, or family. This could be family too. You want to double check communications. May 10th, Mercury is going to retrograde in Gemini and a little bit into Taurus. So for you, this is going to be around money. And it could be money that you get from another source. This could be money from the government. This could be money from child support. This could be money from your partner's money. This could be investing. This could be, think about any source of money that comes to you that is you're not directly earning with your paycheck. So you're going to be revisiting, issues around this. Also too, this can be deep intimacy as well. So you might want to, be careful about, your, how you communicate in intimate relationships, but also thinking about, how you communicate and how you should communicate in intimate relationships. Okay, so September 9th, Mercury's retrograde in Libra and a little bit of Virgo. So Libra for you is the 12th house. So, these are very, you might decide to go into a secluded area, kind of think, your values over, your past over. This could show up in your dream space. You could get communication in the dream space here. But this is about, this area of the chart has to do with karmic endings. So, you will be You will be maybe, thinking about things that happened in the past and what you could have done better and how you're going to move forward. Mars retrograde. So Mars is going to retrograde as well. And this is a little bit unusual. It's going to happen October 30th in Gemini. So this is where you're going to have to kind of rethink your actions. How can you be strategic and how can you empower yourself? Now, this happens in an area of the chart that has to do with, deep intimacy again. And Mars is your ruler, so, one of your rulers. So very important. Like, how are you doing intimacy? Like, this is probably, a sexual bond of some kind. And how are you valuing yourself? How are you empowering yourself? What are your actions? Are these actions good for you? Are they supporting you? Are they helping you to deepen intimacy? Also, too, if you're looking at joint finances, like, you might be looking at investing money in retirement funds or, some kind of investing. That's going to be really important right now, I think, during that time period, because you are doing it strategically to kind of support your future. So make sure you seek out advice on that. And if this has to do with deep psychological stuff, it's, because that's the area of the chart we're talking about too. This is going to be you reflecting on how you can better cope with your traumas, past traumas, and what your actions are doing to either support or sabotage yourself, and how can you fix those things. Okay, so that's all good stuff if you can dive into that. And with it being your ruler, it's going to be really important. Jupiter's going to move into Pisces, which is another water sign, which is really good for you until May 22nd. And Jupiter in Pisces is happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with love and relationships. So I am going to make a prediction that some Scorpios are going to be finding love in 2022. It's kind of looking good for you. And enjoy this new intimacy, or, if you are already in an established bond, you could be seeing a new phase in your relationship. And then Jupiter's going to move into Aries for a little while, May to October. And that's going to happen in a part of the chart that has to do with work and daily routine for you. So you could see this as, as blessings in your career path as well. So if you are looking for a job during that time, or, your job might just be more blessed at that particular time, or maybe it even expands. If you own a business or, you employ people, you might see an expansion or a demand there. And, some risk taking too, to a point, not crazy. But, being adventurous, leading perhaps in your job as well. And then it goes back into Pisces until December 20th, 2022. Be on the lookout for February 17th when Jupiter makes a beautiful sextile to your to Uranus in your 7th house. So yeah, that could be that's a really good day to meet somebody, or have the opportunity to meet somebody. Luck, opportunity in relationships. So I would definitely take advantage of that. February 17th, or give or take like a day or two. So the big news for you, I think, is going to be the eclipses. So the eclipses are happening in your sign and in the sign opposite of yours. So when that happens, that means really big changes in your life. And eclipses are changes that happen because, we as humans, we don't like to change. So eclipses keep things moving. And, they're karmic, they're fated events. You really can't control what goes on around an eclipse. But there is guaranteed to be endings and new beginnings for you. And you may see them right away, and they may be slow to start, but they are definitely going to be there. And I think for the next 18-month cycle, you're going to be very, very impacted by these. I hope you were paying attention to what was coming in November 19th, 2021. That would have kind of clued you in to what, to what to pay attention to for the next 18 months. So really 2022 is all about relationships for you. How are you valuing yourself in relationships? What security do you seek out in relationships? What goals do you have in relationships? This is what all the eclipses are going to be about for you. And the dates on those eclipses are April 30th, solar, a lunar May 15th, a solar October 25th, and a lunar November 8th. So we're talking about relationships, and it would be both personal relationships and business partnerships. So this is like romantic relationships, marriage partnerships, and you're going to examine your security around that, what you bring, what you value in a relationship, how you value yourself, and you're going to be purging maybe some bad habits on how maybe you are selfish, or you only think of yourself at times. And you're going to be balancing business partnerships and yourself and how you value yourself, with the goal of improving relationships. And like I said, it includes personal relationships and marriage partnerships or committed partnerships. And whatever you're leaving, you're kind of getting rid of the shadow part of you that maybe was all about themselves, or only really cared about there's a certain way. I'm not saying that everybody is only cares about themselves, but there's a certain way you were in relationships that now you're going to re-explore and get rid of some of those bad habits that you had, and now take on new values and new goals about either how you treat the other person or how you both value each other. But there's something there that is definitely like shaken up or kind of freed, but yet it's like you have the goal, and you may even have the goal together. Or if this is business partnerships too, this could be making money with a business partner as well. It's almost like your focus changes, from yourself to another, if that makes sense. Okay. And I want to talk about the Scorpios that are born from like November 3rd to November 11th. You're going to have the opposition of Uranus in your sun. So like relationships are big. There could be dramatic beginnings, dramatic endings. I think there's going to be a lot of new beginnings for Scorpio. There could be like endings of cycles, beginning of cycles, but there's a lot of changes around relationships for Scorpio in the new year. And it could even come from somebody coming in, because it is an opposition. So especially if you're born around that November 3rd to November 11th, do expect, dramatic changes in your relationship area. But it will ultimately free you. And, though the ground beneath you might feel like is shifting, it's going to shift you in a more free and better situation for your good. And your emotional security, your financial security, all these things are going to be contemplated with another. All right, Scorpio, pretty intense year for you. But whenever the eclipses are in your sign, you should think back to 19 years ago. What was happening 19 years ago that was so important? And you're likely to see the second layer of that happening now. So it's not going to repeat itself, but you'll see a similar theme to what was going on 19 years ago. Okay, Scorpio, if you want to let me know what that's all about, let me know in the comments. Have a great year.